Camacho Jr. and Larry LaCoursiere. Let's talk a little bit, Rich, about Larry LaCoursiere. He's a guy who has only had one fight in almost 2 years, but he's a guy who's been in there with some pretty tough opponents.
Yeah, he knows his way around the ring, Barry. I think, however, for a guy like LaCoursiere, who depends on sharpness and being able to move around the ring, I think the rustiness may hurt him tonight in that inactivity. He's been in with a number of world champions, as you said, fought some very good fighters, including the great Julio Cesar Chavez. And you can see, watch LaCoursiere, you can see he moves pretty well, has very quick hands here, and can definitely land good combinations, move around. He can make it tough on any opponent that he faces.
Let's talk about Hector Camacho Jr. for just a moment. Self-promotion, that's not a problem at all. He has the sizzle, that's a given. Does he have the steak? I think that's the question.
Well, now that's what we have to find out. This is a critical time, I believe, in the career of Hector Camacho Jr. Has he leveled off? Does he have the stuff to become a world champion? I think that's what this fight, in part, will prove. Hector Camacho Jr. is only 22 years old, but is already considered a veteran with 31 professional fights under his belt, all victories. His unblemished record was carved in dramatic fashion against Mike Cooley in Atlantic City. And then 1 month later against Simon Gonzalez at the Hard Rock in Las Vegas. Soon it was time to step up the opposition. So Junior met former world title challenger Harold Warren. To the shock of everyone, the fight lasted but 1 round. It was the first time Warren had been stopped in 54 professional bouts. 4 months later, Junior knocked out Maynard Reed with this devastating shot in the 4th. A world title shot seemed inevitable, his potential unlimited.
I'm feeling good at that point, I'm just going positive. There's a lot of ups and downs in boxing. As far as fighting monthly, the old times, it's fight every 3 weeks, every month. So, I'm 31-0, I'm still fighting, still learning. That's the main thing, that's the key. Keep learning the sport.
But in the last year, the #1 rated WBA junior welterweight has scored unimpressive wins. His last fight against Ray Martinez was a 12-round lackluster win, a far cry from the dramatic knockouts earlier in his career, or even the effort, it seemed, to be spectacular. And now voices wonder if Junior has hit a plateau, stuck on his climb up the world title ladder.
That's why my training different now. I've head out camp to New York. I want to learn now. Okay, you seen Junior box, learning while losing around. Going on 3 fights, I say 36 rounds, winning 10-9 cards, and just winning, having fun, basically not getting hit. You still got a pretty young face, clean. So those kind of fights and learning while losing around, what more can I ask for,
So while Dad realized his dream to become a world champion, the question remains, does Junior have the ability to take that next step? After his last fight, Dan Goosen, the promoter for America Presents, had a meeting with Hector Camacho Jr. and said, Hector, come on, you got to develop now, you got to get better. So Hector said, okay, I agree. Went got himself a new trainer, went to New York, dedicated himself to this fight.
One thing he does have, and we know this, a flair for the dramatic. Look at Hector.
Oh my gosh. It's Hector of Arabia.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Well, he keeps surprising us.
Yasser Camacho, I think it is.
A lot of people will say, oh, what does he do this for? But let me tell you something. The fans here at ringside are getting a big kick out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? We keep talking about Hector. The bottom line is, this is a really good kid, and you really want to see him do well. And yes, he's got a set of issues that he has to deal with. I think he is dealing with it. He's got this part down pat. I think the whole question is, does he have the goods?
Now, on the other hand, you've got Larry LaCoursiere, who's got to be standing up in the ring, waiting, watching all of this develop in front of him.
I'm sure he's just hoping that the camel tosses him. Well, there's that old adage in boxing that you let your opponent cool his heels. This is taking it to the extreme.
Well, he's getting just about as close as Naseem Ahmed's length in terms of how long they last in their entrances.
Ahmed would fly the camel then.
That may be next. I don't even think Ahmed's come in on a camel.
And all Larry LaCoursiere can do is just try to stay warm. I'll tell you what, I got a chance to be around camels, and they're nasty buggers, those guys. Unless you get a really pretty one.
There's the star of the show tonight.
It's kind of cute.
Yeah, there's got to be a trick to climbing off of a camel here. I don't know if they taught that one to Hector or not.
Well, this is how they do it. They get the camel down on its knees, and it's still very uncomfortable. I can tell you from first-hand experience. And I didn't even do it with boxing gloves on.
Oh, no problem for Hector.
We're coming back. I promise when we do, Camacho will be in the ring and ready to go.
Danger, flammable. The Red Hot Cubs are going.
Welcome back. We're here in the Coachella Valley. We're in Palm Desert, California. Actually, Indio, just hard by Palm Desert. We come to our main event. It is in the junior welterweight division. Larry LaCoursiere, who has been made to wait for Hector Camacho Jr. Let's get it on now as we go to Jimmy Lennon Jr. Jimmy.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you, and we welcome you to the beautiful Fantasy Springs Casino here in Indio, California, as it's time for the featured bout of the evening, brought to you by America Presents matchmaker Thomas Brown. This bout coming away is sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission, the Chairman Cal Soto, Vice Chairman Elmer Costa, Executive Director Rob Lynch, our timekeepers at the bell, also keeping count of the knockdowns, Mike Millsap and Fred Peterson. Our three judges scoring this bout from ringside, Tony Krebs, Doyle Millsap, and Larry Rosadilla. And the third man of the ring, our referee in charge of this bout, Jose Cobian. Right, fans, here we go with our featured bout of the evening. 10 rounds of boxing in a welterweight special attraction. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Fantasy Springs Casino, it's fight time on Fox Sports Net and the main event of the evening. Introducing to you first on my left, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black trunks with gold trim, joining us from Hastings, Minnesota. He weighed in at 147 1/2 pounds. His record stands at 26 wins, 8 losses, and 1 draw, with 14 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Lightning, Larry LaCoursiere. And his opponent across the ring on my right, fighting out of the blue corner in this 10-round attraction, wearing multicolored trunks, hailing from Carolina, Puerto Rico. He weighed in at 149 pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign in the ring with 31 wins, no losses, 17 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the colorful WBA #1 ranked super lightweight contender in the world, introducing the undefeated Hector Macho Camacho Jr. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, 10 rounds of boxing scheduled. Jose Cobian, referee in charge, now to give instructions.
Well, it's taking a little while for Hector to get out of the get-up. We thought we were hot. Can you imagine wearing all that in the ring?
There's instructions. Any questions? Go back to
Here's the numbers on these two, as you can see, Coursiere at 35 years of age to Camacho's 22. Incidentally, you heard Jimmy Lennon Jr. Introduce LaCoursiere as LaCoursiere. There is some question as to the pronunciation of his name, and he has actually said different things to different people. So we're going LaCoursiere, and so be it.
Going Larry.
That's good. I like that. Camacho says he wants some rounds here, and if things are going to be that easy, he may not get them.
But, however, it is important. Camacho's the #1 contender. He has to make a statement for a championship fight. It is important that he doesn't win a 10-round banal decision. He has to force the action. He's got to do it rapidly. He comes out like he wants to.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I think. I think Hector is looking for a knockout, and I don't think he's looking for rounds here. I'm looking at his feet. They are flat-footed. He is setting down on his punches right away. He's not moving around the ring. There's no funny business going on in there. He's coming out to punch.
Yes, he must make a statement here for a world championship fight. He wants that fight next.
LaCoursiere is really there for the right hand. I mean, he's been open to it already on a couple of occasions.
A little like Ron Howard. Larry LaCoursiere.
A little bit.
Describes himself as a boxer puncher. He says his best punch is the right cross. Now, he is a mover in the ring. He's not doing that here. In his fights in the past, he's been able to swirl around his opponents and score at will. He can't stand in front of somebody like Camacho. Camacho's too fast.
Yeah, LaCoursiere is a good boxer. He gets around that ring pretty well. Went the distance with Julio Cesar Chavez. He's fought a number of other world champions, Winky Wright, Tony Lopez, Costa Zoo. So he knows, what it is to be in there with good competition.
Not shied away from competition. Had about 140 amateur fights, 10-year amateur career. Been fighting a long time.
Camacho is just taking a completely different attitude toward this fight in terms of his style than he did in his previous bouts with Martinez and Hutchinson.
And he must.
Yeah, he very definitely is. He's been switching up here, going left to right on occasion.
Good straight left from him. He says, my style, just like my father's, only I have more power. My best punch is the straight left, and he just showed that to Larry. These two are fighting in an 18-foot ring. As you mentioned earlier, it doesn't look like it's 18. I think it's stretching it a bit. Good uppercut.
Big uppercut. Yeah, that really hurt LaCoursiere.
It is a very fast ring. For that reason, LaCoursiere should get on his bicycle.
Camacho's looking for a one-round KO if he can get it.
I think he is too.
He's trying his best. He is really setting down on his punches. The tip-off was right away. I mean, the way he came out just flat-footing and setting down on those punches, looking for power with the first shot. Look at, I mean, he's winding up like you don't normally see him do.
Yeah, that's a dangerous thing because a lot of times your opponent knows you're winding up on him. He's going to tense up. You can't knock him out. Settle down, throw some easy punches. Wow, there's a big uppercut too. Easy punches, and then bring on the heavy lumber. Explode.
End of the first round. Two very good uppercuts in that round by Camacho.
Yeah, I thought the uppercut was a tremendous weapon for him here in round one. Coming at him right from the beginning. Look at him sneak that right uppercut in. Now, if it comes from up top, take a look. Watch where Camacho comes with that punch. Moving into LaCoursiere. Getting his body behind it. This is actually later in the round. Same punch, same side of the ring. Excellent work. There's LaCoursiere, who only came back 4 months ago back to the ring. Really gets around the ring well and has fought so many good fighters along the way, and another one here tonight. Then, of course, with Hector Camacho Jr., he's flashy. He likes to be flashy in there. He has not been that so far tonight. He has been looking for power. He's defensively sound. He's not worried about that tonight. He's looking for power, folks. He wants to prove everybody that he hasn't just reached a plateau.
He's pretty serious about his business once he gets in the way he is tonight.
I like that attitude from Junior. You know, I thought that whole thing with his last situation where he fought on the same card with his dad, the father-son thing, I think it just turned into a big circus atmosphere, and it was not good for Hector Camacho Jr. You know, his dad's at ringside and was raising a big ruckus while Hector Jr.'s out there trying to fight. You know, it just was a little bit too much. Whereas Senior got into a fight with his uncle, and I mean, the whole thing. It was just nuts.
That down he goes for left-handed, crushing left hand. That's it. over. Just like that. A crushing left hand.
It is manifest. Larry LaCoursiere.
2 days ago, he told me I've got to be spectacular. And that's exactly what he was here tonight.
Well, he set it up with that uppercut in the first round, 2 uppercuts in the first round, and that left hand was a thing of beauty.
And that is just what he needed. There's a look at the Larry's face. Larry's still flat on his back. Hector Camacho Jr. needed an impressive KO in this win to sell a World Championship fight. Very dangerous position for LaCoursiere. He is flat on his back. Get some ice on the back of his neck. Put some ice down his trunks. Wake that man up.
They will keep him down, of course.
A tremendous shot by Camacho Jr. And look at LaCoursiere, still has not been able to make it to his feet or even muster up much movement. Now Hector Jr. over to check on his fallen opponent.
With some concern. And that's what I said. This kid has pretty strong character, I think. He's a good kid. And
yeah, so this is what you like to see rather than a lot of floating and jumping around in a situation like this when you've got a man down.
And you can tell Hector's concerned here. He's got that in him. I mean, he's, as my mother would say, he's a mensch. And the concern continues for LaCoursiere. Was out before he hit the canvas and has not recovered. LaCoursiere has not had a fight, had one fight in the last 21 months.
Not again no more. 140, 135 points. Not again no more. Bring on Leja. It's my time.
You heard Hector Camacho Jr. referring to Leja. That would be his next, and would certainly be his most important fight of his career. A showdown with Jesse James Leja, who's still fighting at a high level. But that's not our concern right now. The concern is Larry LaCoursiere.
And Sean is up in the ring. Sean, have you had a look? Can you tell what's going on here?
Yes, great concern. Doctor is now leaning over LaCoursiere's body, trying to revive him. LaCoursiere, his breathing is, I can see his belly moving in and out, but very dangerous situation. LaCoursieре still has the mouthpiece in. They kept the mouthpiece in there because they don't want him biting his tongue. He is OUT out. Very dangerous place. They're trying to give him some air, give him some space. Larry LaCoursiere, he's moving around a little bit now. We see some reaction from him, which is a good sign. Perhaps feeling some of the pain. Trying to come around. This is good news. I think he's certainly he's moving, and he seems like he may recover from this. Wow, what a shot and what a knockout and what an opportunity for Hector Camacho Jr. And scary time now.
They will keep LaCoursiere down. He appears right now to be conscious. There was a look at it. You can see he was out before he ever hit the canvas, Rich.
Yeah, very ugly. Nice.
Punch is interesting as he comes in. As he comes in with that left.
Ran into it, and then the right hook. Hector Camacho Jr.
Now from up above, keep your eye on the left hand. It actually landed up high on the top of the head. It was not on the point of the chin where you normally will get a knockout of this type to where a man is knocked out.
LaCoursiere does appear to be moving. Now, he appears to be conscious, but again, they will keep him down as a precaution for absolutely as long as necessary. But I believe he is conscious. You can see him moving his hands right now. Take a look at this, Rich, in real speed.
All right, you'll see it happens at the very beginning of round number 2. It was evident in round 1 that he wanted a knockout. There you see it in round 2. It was almost the first punch thrown with any real intentions in round number 2.
Let's go back up to Sean, and Sean, right in front of you, Hector Camacho Jr. I don't think anybody's more concerned than he is right now.
No, he's very concerned. The good news is Larry is sitting up now. He is responding to questions. The doctors here did a terrific job over him. He appears to be that he's going to be all right.
Well, you know what happened? It really, in a case like this where you see a guy get knocked out with 1 or 2 good punches, they are not the ones normally who get seriously injured. He did not take a sustained beating over a long period of time.
No, he didn't, and he does appear to be okay now. All right, we're going to jump away. When we come back, we'll make it all official. We'll talk with the winner. We got a lot more business to do from here in Palm Springs. Don't go away. We're coming back.
There is no danger, however, as the satellite.
Near Palm Springs, we're in Indio, California. Big puffy clouds up over the mountains. We're at Fantasy Springs in Indio, and our main event is in the books, and it was a most impressive performance for Hector Camacho Jr. and for Larry LaCoursiere. He was out for a long time. He is sitting in his corner now. does seem to be responding to questions, but doesn't seem to be quite all the way back yet. But the good news is he is conscious, he is talking, and he just now got to his feet. Right now, let's go to Jimmy Lennon Jr. We'll make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 35 seconds in round number 2. He's the winner by way of knockout and still undefeated, Hector Macho Camacho Jr.
Well, he got all his friends back, I'll tell you that, in this fight.
Well, there just was no question what he was going to do. You know, or what he was at least going to try to do, and he did end up doing it. I talked to Hector 2 days ago, and I asked him, are you going to try to be spectacular? And he says, I've got to be spectacular, Rich. I didn't know what he was trying to do in those last couple of fights, but it was a completely different Hector Jr. in there this afternoon.
Yeah, see, you got to him. Right now, let's go to the center of the ring. We'll get to him again. Sean O'Grady's with him. Sean?
Thanks, guys. Hector Camacho Jr., I know you were sincerely concerned over Larry. What do you think?
You know, I'm kind of confused. I want to celebrate at the same time. I'm kind of worried because of her, you know.
Yeah. You don't mean
just a pretty smile. Get ready. The biggest hot dog is going, you know where, to Coney Island. It's junior time.
Tell me something, junior time. You know what? You're #1 contender in the world. Why aren't you fighting for the championship of the world now?
Like I've been saying for a longer time, I'm practicing to be great. I just don't want to win one title. I want to jump from 35 to 40, 47 spontaneously. I mean, there's no fun winning one title. I'm a champ without a title. I'm people.
You know, when you came in the ring, on a camel, I wasn't quite sure what to expect. But you got down to business in the fight, and we're going to take a look at some of the action from the first round. And you went right at him. Why?
Well, I'm practicing, you know, different style. I got different training with Camacho. I'm practicing different things. So I want to keep working. Easy.
So, what were you thinking when you knocked him down? What were you thinking? Did you think when you hit him that was it?
Well, you know, there's something called, I felt the chills all over my body. No, honestly, I felt the left, I threw the left, it was perfect timing. He was coming, it was short, crisp left. You know, it happens every time, and, you know, just come with the right punch at the right time.
You know, it's so important for fighters to perform at an optimal moment. Tonight you performed when it was necessary. There's some critics that have said that your career has stagnated. Why have you proved tonight that's not true?
Well, it's like motor. I don't ever see with a water boy, Bobby Boucher. He's been picked off the longest time. He just burst. I got this animal's about to burst right now, and you know, step by step, in junior time.
Different facet. What's next for junior time?
But you know, they actually, you know, Mr. Dan Goosen for more of the year.
Yep.
Listen, you know, Sean, we already heard him say he's the biggest hot dog in boxing. And July 7th, he's going to Coney Island, New York City. Okay, we're going to go out there and fight Jesse James Leija. You know, you asked about the title before. This is the next step in the march to the title because he wants to look great.
And you know what? He looked great tonight. And in tonight's fight, you really weren't as fired up as I can hear in your voice about Jesse James Leija. Why is that fight so important for you?
I want to make a statement.
Like what? What statement?
It's more than just a pretty face and a beautiful smile. It's junior time. I'm gonna burst. I got the animal inside. I just want to explode.
The very humble and shy, unassuming Hector Macho Camacho Jr. Congratulations, Hector.
Thank you.
So Hector goes 32-0 with 18 KOs. Back over to you guys at ringside.
And I'll tell you what, Rich, it might be junior time now.